Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. pattern of conduct, the ongoing real-time documentation of what is the criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in violation of 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is the pattern of conduct underway by a public entity, that is the state of California, that is engaging in federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California. So this is group conduct. And this is the practicing of what are the criminal elements of monitoring amongst what is the demon possessed. And so this is what is documentation of terrorism as it is underway by a public entity in concert with the people of the state who are in the shoes of the government as this criminal system is in ceaseless operation. And as the state engages in this demented group conduct, this is revealing how the public entity, that is the state of California, that is in the United States of America, how terrorism of an American citizen plays out, what that looks like, how that is facilitated amongst a people, amongst a government, how it is public corruption in plain sight, and not only that, how you formulate policy and how you prosecute that which is demonic conduct, it's demonic activity, but that which is in no way impervious to prosecution in federal court, and being subject to ratification into federal policy. This is the P.O.C. All right, license 7XYJ389, BM59B53, that's a paper plate. City of Ontario is in perfect alignment with Shiro's Liquor at Ontario Town Square Townhomes, creating light activity and audible activity, and these minions are patrolling around me in the parking lot. BF53G05 paper, 5WSB278. It is currently 8:25 a.m. License BF82H68, that's paper, 7B84600, 8YVX606, 8YBH344, 7HCM281, PCC296, that's a New Mexico license plate. And I captured an image so you can see what relevant positioning is. It's deliberate placement in the path. In City of Ontario, using a dumpster truck is creating light activity at a third-party facilitating venue in alignment with where I am standing. This is facilitation. It is the same as Omnitrans being at the bus stop, using its hazards. It's the same as a minion stopping in the middle of the street and turning on their hazards. You're talking about what is the municipality using that vehicle. 30551G1 is monitoring with the City of Ontario. 5ZXGO62, 8EOJ932, 8BGF917, 8JYH867. And again, I took a picture of that. You're looking at what is demonic, and you're looking at what is a picture of malice. While that is monitoring conduct. That's how the entity engages in the criminal conduct, is engaging in surveillance in plain sight. All right, and they are engaging in monitoring and surveillance with communication devices. 7VU8309, COACH35, COACH35, I believe, yeah. 1545683 is Omnitrans bus number 2344, 7AMK316. 8NMW, hold on one second, 8NWM034, excuse me, 8DSB699, and it's currently 8:27 a.m. I'm going to document license 7ESE389, a third party at what is the third party facilitating venue, Stater Brothers, which is within the third party facilitating venue. The larger picture, again, you're talking about what is monitoring as an entity at the Ontario Village, where I've already documented and what the state is engaging in, which is stalking with light, and doing so with its fake sun, which remains over me even as the state covers it up. All right, you have what is that documentation that already exists, so you are understanding the specific environment, you are understanding what is the ongoing P.O.C. and that ongoing P.O.C. occurring in the bathroom. At Stater Brothers, you have what is the entity stalking as an entity together inside of what is a private space at Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt, and the entity stalking in the pathway of that bathroom hallway, and doing so by using the mop, standing in the open doorway of light in order to be present for crossing a path, and doing so while this third party, again, license plate 7ESE389, is present in relevant position while the state, just like you hear now, hovering over B&G Plaza, acting as though it's taking off. That's exactly what it was doing west of this location, hovering over the Ontario Village Shopping Center, acting as though it's taking off, okay? Directly where I am in the parking lot, stalking by plane. 7J41534 is monitoring, just like license plate 7ESE389 was monitoring, and was monitoring me inside of the private space, which is the bathroom inside of Stater Brothers, where those demon-possessed stalkers are engaging in stalking in the path and stalking with light while maintaining ongoing knowledge, invasion of privacy by an entity underway while I'm subject to that sexual violence by the government and third parties alike. All right, it is currently 8:29 a.m. and that is while Tracy Banks, again licensed 4WON432, is monitoring with the entity as well, and doing so incorporating Eric Corey Spencer, who is on the communication device, creating audible activity, monitoring with Tracy Banks from afar on a communication device. They are both engaging in the P.O.C. together, and that's a minion whose name I know. Currently, the African-American male is going into Shiro's Liquor. That's going to be on camera at B&G Plaza. It's 8:30 a.m. He's engaging in relevant positioning. He's monitoring as the state, as you hear, hovering in aircraft. He's monitoring, all right? And this is, again, license 1545683. Bus 2344, he got back on the bus right now, which would be on his surveillance cameras on that bus as well, and on Shiro's Liquor as he is in relevant positioning, engaging in relevant positioning and loitering in relevant positioning. Let me be clear also, what I took a picture of with regard to City of Ontario, this is the same exact conduct. Omnitrans is engaged in state surveillance. They're creating light activity, it's facilitation, and it is demonic activity while they are monitoring together with the state. All right, there is no difference. You're talking about different actors. The state acting directly via the municipality, the state acting vicariously via Omnitrans, okay? And it is the same condition, demon possession. This is demonic, all right? And it's criminal. It's 8:31 a.m. License plate 5NUA004. City of Ontario, driving through B&G Plaza crossing path, loitering at Ontario Town Square crossing path, and creating light activity and pacing, driving west in another vehicle. That's all City of Ontario. 8MOJ938. Monitoring with City of Ontario. The demons of the municipality, engaging in state surveillance. License 7KKR 535, I believe. 8CLW049 6XYP267. 0446-1Y2, that's UMT Unicare Medics. 8HPW504, 8UPV440, 8TAT756, 7RNH669, I believe. Can't really see that one. Sorry, that one. 7GSV396. 8J78630, and UMT Unicare, that's the one I captured engaging in P.O.C. in the city of Upland, where the state was keeping its fake sun. Don't forget that. 7XRF322, 7J8Y518, 8TMT620, 9G20819, that's Fairview Trucking. And to be precise, Unicare Medics was stalking in relevant position at the 7-Eleven, okay? I believe it is 204 North Euclid Avenue at the intersection of 8th Street and Euclid, where the state was keeping its fake sun over that venue, as I would stand there before the Upland Public Library would open, as I would stand there before and after the library would open, and the state would keep its fake sun engaging in the same pattern, hovering over me until I went to whatever venue, and that was the Upland Public Library, or leaving the Upland Public Library, where the state would then leave from remaining over the ceiling, over the roof, moving over the Upland Public Library for the duration of the day, acting as though the sun was setting in Upland in alignment with the Upland Public Library, and then remaining over me if I would leave in the middle of the day as I get on the Route 8YAX435, the Route 83 bus on Euclid Avenue, and go north to Foothill or south, and I was that all of that is still documentation that exists. So like I said, this is Unicare. That's just an example. of an ongoing entity engaging in P.O.C. And the state engaging in departing from that conduct, which I documented in Ontario before I went to Upland and showing you what is stalking with a fake sun, a light source, witnessing demonic activity is what that is, and an entity engaging in surveillance. And that's why the fake sun was remaining over me in the city of Upland and not coexisting with remaining over 280 Northwood Apartments, setting over the museum while I'm in alignment with the B&G Plaza after it's over me in the morning. Covering it up is no form. It is the same exact P.O.C. And this is an entity that's monitoring its own documentation and prosecution. License plate 7RUF 909 00870K3 8HCK323 8YWY 337 7YJM 058 5RXW 407 7UG 2731 8DZX 574. It's 8:39 a.m. 6FYZ 871 8CRX 940. This is Nevada 742 TVH. United States Postal Service monitoring with City of Ontario light activity. USPS crossing path. It's vehicle 7531648, an Asian male driving that. GMA Trucking. The back license plate is 4PJ8806. 7TNE 822 8UUY 530 71824M2. Eight LLK 412, 8 CVT 269, 8XXM 272, 6EYY 543 22788E3, 46903G2, 52311M2, 02297U2. And what else is so fascinating about that documentation that already exists? 32068S2 is inside of B&G Plaza, stalking in the parking lot. 6L43499, patrolling in the B&G Plaza, the same. 8SFPO20, 8KVY629, 8EZT189, TFAM4EV. The state's fake sun remaining in the bus of the Omnitrans, as I documented already, again, while I am going what is northbound on Euclid Avenue on the Route 83 bus, is the documentation that's coexisting and is mutually exclusive with regard to nothing other than revealing what is a light source and not the sun. 8JKH738. And that is how I'm able to capture what is the state's fake sun remaining in the window of the Route 61 bus that's driving what is eastbound on Hope Boulevard, driving southbound on Vineyard, driving eastbound on Airport Road, westbound on Airport Road, northbound on Archibald Avenue, eastbound on Inland Empire, keeping the fake sun in the window the whole time. 17349C2 Centus, 8GSC 583, while also remaining in the window of the Route 66 bus, driving both eastbound and westbound on Foothill Boulevard. State keeping a fake sun in the window over me, directed light on that bus. All of this is documentation of the state keeping a light source over me while I'm on what is a venue in motion. That is Omnitrans bus. And that is what is direct evidence of stalking with light. Like I said, that is the demonic engagement in stalking with light, where state surveillance is underway, and state surveillance is existing under the name that you would recognize as Omnitrans. Okay? Omnitrans is doing nothing but engaging in what is state surveillance facilitation on behalf of the government and in concert with the people of the state. All right? So, like I said, with regard to any other minions vehicle that I'm inside of, it is the same exact conduct of stalking with light, that which is not the sun. And there is no time where you are covering it up, where that P.O.C. that already is documented and revealed is ceasing to exist. CMZ 8996. That's also why I'm able to capture what is directed light, just like I showed you in still images and in video at nighttime. But I showed you still images of directed light while I'm at 60 North Fern. This is ongoing surveillance. It's 8:42 a.m. 01046A2 6ZTR378 8LXV 649 5SQC168. An error mark crossing path going westbound on halt as I'm describing to you about the fake sun remaining in the bus in the window on Route 83 buses 12080S2 buses that I'm on, not that third parties on, that I'm on. Where third parties are on the bus with me, that's where third parties are under a moving light source. 7A2300, 7A23200, excuse me, 8VNH424, I believe. Error mark is a company engaging in state surveillance, engaging in kidnapping as documented at state facilitating venues, Central Detention Center, Glen Helen Rehabilitation Center, and West Valley Detention Center, as I documented the entity engaging in kidnapping with the intent to obstruct justice. Error mark intentionally crossing path as well, was as I engage in going into detail about the criminal activity that I've already documented that is already published. So like I said, this is already a done deal. You're talking about what is an entity that is after the fact monitoring documentation of leading up to what is an ultimate demise, which they are delusional with regard to the conduct that they're engaging in. It's going to their own defeat. All right, you're talking about Satan already lost. You already lost big time. License plate 8VLN770. And that is what is, first of all, error mark engaging in the P.O.C, engaging in surveillance, but even understand what demons do as they do it. That's error mark intentionally crossing path, as I am beginning to remind you about analysis and documentation that already exists. CN 8CDN 8993, I believe. 7ZRB 7ZR8119, excuse me. 7YJS 645. I think it's 8:45 a.m. It's a paper plate. Cover let their lenses away. VQ9, I believe. That's old. Let's wait. 8CTB 401. 8BAF 749. It's 8:47 a.m. This minion coming from Plum. License plate 7YNL651. License plate 7XEK357. 8DR. I can't really see that one. This is Sparklets 4966. 49966E3, that's Sparklets. And it's 8:47 a.m. Omnitrans is en route coming eastbound on Holt Boulevard right now at 8:48 a.m. with the rest of the minions. It's 8:48 a.m. License 8YJM704 7BCA 924. 5NPF 336. License of Omnitrans is 1404990, bus 1332. 7THS 607. 7N10184. 41447C2, leaving out of BNG Plaza. That's called a demon driving a bus, stalking with audible activity, and loitering and creating light activity. That's Omnitrans. License plate 7 MKA 180. It is 8:49 a.m. 6 PMW 084 31669G3. That's Green Tech. PPL EPTW 7UIH 94, I believe, 8ITL041. It's 8:57 a.m. City of Ontario is also loitering on transit in a dumpster truck. 5TYF117 7RUS 710. Uh, 6B5 3 6B53524. 8FNC 731. And the dumpster truck that is used as a means of loitering on transit, this is a vehicle. The dumpster truck has a number on it, 9145. It is City of Ontario, and the license plate is, let's see, 1554790. 7ZBE 473, 7KUD 373. Zero 7783A2. 6H6. Hold on, let me get this. 6H68086. Monitoring with Union Pacific. That's Brian's Automotive. License 8DSW048. Monitoring with Union Pacific. Let's see. 8GPC 845 21016E3. 41071G3. 00197Z1. 8YTH301. Bud Light crossing path. It's a large commercial truck. 8MBU 106. 0705 07505 F2 and 8AKA 905. And understand how that stalking with the environment is underway right now, as you heard it. As I walk to transit and get the license plate of the City of Ontario vehicle, read the license plates on transit, you have what is the creation of audible activity using a train. And that is Union Pacific engaging in, by virtue of what it does on train tracks, engaging in interstate commerce, crossing state lines with the intent of placing another under surveillance. 24498E2, 8ARD773, 8KDT281, I believe. No, 8XDT281 at Plum and Hall. This is a paper plate. BM62P81. 7JKP591. 7JXN818, 8VKS279, 8PUR 714, I believe. The sheriff, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. That's a demon and a Sheriff's Department vehicle stalking in the path. I'm monitoring with Union Pacific 7 NDT 519 AY35N89. That's a paper plate. And it is 9:01 a.m. This minion, license 5XBL118, 8XEY121. This minion of Ontario Town Square, group stalking at apartment number 151. This is an African-American male on that property in operation of a communication device. It's actually number 152 exactly. This is P.O.C, where that minion whose license plate, I said that minion, I read the license plate, is patrolling in front of that demon in operation of a communication device. That's the creation of light activity, patrolling, and another minion standing outside of the apartment with the communication device they're monitoring together. License 577TR, handicap 8YSM340, 5KJA884, 470HUY, 8PCW988. And this is third-party facilitating venue Metro 102 Apartments and Ontario Town Square Townhomes. (6LPV156) 5WK601 29662G3, and the back license plate on a trailer that it's carrying is 4HV5553 8JZH319 6GLU515 8VRN824 4WSV412. It's 9:03 a.m. Eight XGY130 8GUC601. Bergeson's Heating and Electric, state license 263871, license plate 84695D3. And this minion, old and crusty, you hear her close her car door, 424DB, that's a handicap, and that's an old crusty bag of bones monitoring, 5GGK468, 7TGD090, 8YSM340 is stalking in the parking lot, 7ZCT777, 7MUE916, 8SYG883, 7UVK662, and that old bag of bones walks into the Ontario Senior Center, a facilitating venue. 93120T1, 7HDH892, 8JLD112, 1DERL with a hand on that license plate, 8SNX664, 8JJX000, 8K87087. And I just want to point out, this one says they're a Vietnam veteran, they're monitoring, and they're demon possessed. 8K87087. (7WIG756) 693TT handicap 8JVL217. 9:05 a.m. Yeah, McCarthy creating light activity and audible activity. In the same way that I already showed you, while the state was keeping a fake sun coming from the opposite direction. This is state surveillance with the old geezer standing in the middle of the turn circle monitoring. That's called stalking in the path. I just took an image of it. He's monitoring with a communication device. While McCarthy creates light activity and audible activity. All of them are minions monitoring together. It is 9:06 a.m. and this is at the turn circle at the entrance area of the Ovid Family Community Library. A picture of what is state surveillance. That's the Ontario Fire Department. 9:13 a.m. That's amplified audible activity. McCarthy is in relevant position monitoring as well. I am sitting at the front entrance of the Ovid Family Community Library. Well, not the front entrance. I'm at the front portion of the library that is facing the construction site of McCarthy. And that's the Ontario Fire Department creating sirens as I publish my podcast. Alrighty, that is P.O.C. Those are demons driving fire trucks engaging in state surveillance with the people of the state. P.O.C. Alrighty, at 9:56 a.m., it's currently 9:57 a.m., I did capture video of what is the state's fake sun that is directly over the building of the Ovid Family Community Library, as opposed to being above the 280 North Limit Apartments, which is the relative location to where I'm standing, where at that time where I arrive at the Ovid Family Community Library area, the C Street turn circle, walking through that pathway in between the apartment and the library, as I am standing outside of the entrance. Not only in the morning, but you're talking about into the afternoon, into the evening as well. Nonetheless, I'm capturing at 9:56 a.m. because I'm sitting at the portion of the library that is beyond the front entrance, facing the McCarthy construction site, where you are hearing audible activity creation, and that is speaking to what is relevant positioning. This is documentation of what is surveillance by a government acting through the people of the state. And as I capture that location of the state's fake sun above the building of the Ovid Family Community Library at 9:56 a.m., what I am reminding you of in that video, and what you are already witnessing and aware of with regard to the wealth of documentation, is the state's placement of that fake sun, for example, where I remain at this same time, not yet arriving or coming in the direction of the Ovid Family Community Library. You are talking about the state keeping a fake sun over the B&G Plaza, which I documented at this time yesterday. I have not yet arrived at the Ovid Family Community Library. The state's fake sun is over me, where I'm showing you the state is hovering in a commercial airline plane. The state's fake sun is right over me as I stand at that intersection of Plum and Holt Boulevard. And I'm showing you what is stalking in the path as people are in vehicles crossing path, and what is that engineered light. This is state surveillance. Likewise, in this video, while the state's fake sun is present over the Ovid Family Community Library, hovering over that building, aiming directed light onto the surfaces around me in front of me, you are looking at what is a demon-possessed stalker. This is a white woman crossing path, engaging in what is criminal conduct on video with a communication device, engaging in the act of what is surveillance by on behalf of a government that is placing a light source over the Ovid Family Community Library. That's what I captured. And that is understanding what is group stalking. That is understanding what is demonic activity. You're witnessing a demon that is prancing by, engaging in what is interstate stalking with the government. This is the surveillance system in operation, and that's what I capture as the state's fake sun is over the, above the Ovid Family Community Library, necessarily so in order for me to capture it while I'm standing with my back to the McCarthy construction site. It is not anywhere, as you can see in my video, over the 280 North Limit Apartments direction. The state moves its light source relative to where I move. In addition to that, what you are remembering is as I remain at the B&G Plaza and I get on the Omnitrans bus 61 going toward Fontana, the state's fake sun is going in nowhere in this direction. The state is keeping the fake sun in the window of the bus, keeping it over me as I am en route to the city of Fontana. Another example where I am remaining at 630 North Fern in the vehicle, and I have shown you in a wealth of documentation the state keeping its fake sun over me through the windshield, through the windows of that vehicle after 10 o'clock in the morning. On January 1st, 2022, I showed you the state keeping the fake sun at 2:47 p.m. remaining over me on that street. After 4 p.m. in the evening, the state keeping the fake sun in alignment with me at that street, all of which is documentation which is beyond this location of being above the Ovid Family Community Library building. That's just the ongoing example of what is stalking with a light source, a fake sun, for what is surveillance by a government and the people of the state. In addition to maintaining my presence at the Ontario Village Shopping Center, where I have documented in a wealth of documentation as well, you have what is the state keeping its fake sun while I'm at that venue, and then I document the state keeping this same light source, which is not the sun, hovering over me, as I then show what is the state keeping that fake sun as I walk from a totally different direction of the B&G Plaza, keeping the fake sun over me as I arrive at Ovid, coming from Ontario Village, keeping the fake sun over me as I arrive at Ovid, coming from polar opposite directions. This is the documentation, this is publishing, this is understanding what is stalking with light. Stalking with light is demonic. Stalking with light is also criminal. It is serving what is a surveillance system by a government, and is acting vicariously through the demons who you are witnessing crossing path. This is not only a demon that is engaging in demonic activity before your face. You are also witnessing a demon based on the presence of that fake sun. This is the revealing of demonic activity. You are also revealing what is a sex offender engaging in that same stalking conduct that you're witnessing while I'm standing outside under a fake sun, and doing so while engaging in that stalking activity with a communication device in that environment. This is the same entity. Let me be clear. This white woman that is a demon-possessed stalker engaging in surveillance on behalf of the state is acting both on behalf of the government and acting as the people of the state, engaging in the act of surveillance before your very eyes. So I want to be clear. That's the significance of that video that I captured in the state's fake sun is over the Ovid Family Community Library at 9:56 in the morning. And this is again in conflict with what is already published while the state is using what is a light source and not the actual sun, and engaging in all manner of what is stalking with a light source, which is documentation of what is terrorism as it is underway in the state of California. And that demon, which is a white woman, and let me be clear, engaging in criminal conduct, which is surveillance with the people of the state, acting with law enforcement, acting with the fire department, who you hear sounding sirens while they are monitoring what I am doing while at a distance. And the state is amplifying the use of those sirens by those demons operating a fire truck vehicle to engage in the elements of monitoring together. This is massive surveillance. I want to be clear. And that is the significance of what is revealing stalking with a fake sun at 9:56 a.m. This is also relevant to the rest of the country. This is 9:56 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which would be 11:56 a.m. Central Standard Time, and 12:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So like I said, that minion, and that is exactly what she is. You're not dealing with normal people. This is the demon possessed engaging in what is surveillance, massive surveillance. It is a satanic targeting system in operation and exposed as such, which is ongoing in the state of California. That is conduct that the entity engages in where directed light is present inside of any venue where I am present. The state is stalking with light. The state is maintaining light while minions, just like you see in video, crossing path, which is group conduct. That is documentation of what is terrorism. All right, let me be clear. That is not walking by. That is the state that is patrolling all around, engaging in terrorizing conduct while they are monitoring the documentation of that criminal system. That is going toward a prosecution, a very profuse prosecution. It is 10:04 a.m. and this is P.O.C. at Ovid Family Community Library. All right, so I want to document, first of all, this is harassment by an entity that's engaged in federal stalking. You're understanding the nature of this surveillance system. It's demonic. So what you have is, first of all, relevant positioning, and this is what I'm documenting presence of. They're in directed light. You're not focusing on book stacks. You're a demon stalking in the path in directed light, and you're also stalking in the path while the state is creating what is sensational activity with simultaneity to my operation of my communication device. And so you have what are third parties that are maintaining presence in the path. They're in directed light. They're under the fake sun, and directed light is inside of the library itself. So this is all manner of what is surrounding with evidence and psychopaths who are stalking and monitoring, surveilling with the state and with the Ovid Family Community Library, a state facilitating venue. And at approximately 11:22 a.m., it's 11:24 a.m. right now, you have what are minions who are in the path while the state is the table that I am sitting at, the hitting of the table, which is while I'm leaning on it, I'm using my phone, I'm editing my website, I'm online. And so you have what is hitting the table. So the significance with regard to the elements, that is sensational activity. And you have what are minions who are around in relevant position and feigning what is ignorance to that. I want to be clear, these are the demon possessed, and the entity does engage in what is sensational activity creation in the absence of any physical person. For example, documenting what is demonic activity inside of State Facilitating Venue West Valley Detention Center. And let me be clear, this is a high security facility where there is no earthquake that's shaking those concretes and those insulated brick walls and that bulletproof glass and that heavy metal. The entity, this is demonic activity, so I want to be clear. Sensational activity is where you are engaging in any sort of vibration shaking of the environment where I'm at and doing it with simultaneity to whatever it is that I'm doing it also pursuant to what is an ongoing demonic effort and objective to engage in harassment. And so let me give you this example and remind you of what is the demonic activity at West Valley Detention Center, shaking what are the beds, the bunk beds that are bolted to the brick wall. They are painted in. They are it's a solid foundation. In other words, the state would engage in what is the routine creation of sensational activity while I was on those bunk beds in those cells while I was kidnapped by myself. Okay, nobody even present to engage in hitting the bunk beds with regard to what is addressing another third party, which is supposed to be the form, right? So when the entity is engaging in the surveillance system, you are engaging in documenting and experiencing what is demonic activity while there's not even a physical person that you can see, while that sensational activity, which is impossible, the bunk beds inside of West Valley that are bolted off of the ground onto the brick walls, painted, insulated in, firmly secure, not shaking or moving, not when you're getting on and off of them, under no circumstances, and there's no earthquakes that is creating any of that activity. So I want to be clear, that's sensational activity. It is demonic. Okay, I want to be clear, this is the sensational activity, moving of the shaking of the table while I'm sitting on it, and while you have minions that are in a relevant position, and then feigning ignorance. And so I'm just politely asking, is there something wrong? Are you hitting the table? No, I don't know what you're talking about. While you're stalking in the path and doing so pursuant to the demonic behavioral pattern of as I am specific, and I'll just be specific to what I'm updating, I am including the name of a state facilitating actor, that is Deputy A. Valdez. She is a demon-possessed stalker engaging in surveillance inside of what is West Valley Detention Center. And as I am pasting her name and her identification number onto my website, the state is engaging in the creation of sensational activity. All right, while you have what are minions in the path, they are monitoring to that creation of sensational activity. They are monitoring while they're in directed light inside of the library. They're monitoring under the fake sun and in directed light, period. So I do want to be clear, this is revealing what is demonic. You do have what are minions that are in the path monitoring to that activity creation, not just in front of me. You have the old white male who have already captured group stalking on the cane. He is in relevant position in operation of a communication device. I just want to be clear as to it's not just who's in front of me. You have a minion that engaging in surrounding, stalking the path, sitting at the table behind me. And so that's the totality of those who are maintaining close proximity, while the table is a means of creating sensational activity, shaking the table while I'm on it, while I'm uploading the damning information of what is kidnapping by the state facilitating venues of the state of California, the Ontario Police Department, the West Valley Detention Center, which is the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, and the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. This is P.O.C. I want to give another example that I've also published. For example, while I'm at the Fontana Lewis Library and I'm sitting at the computer, you have what is the sound of the blender, all right, the cafe that is on the opposite side of that computer lab. You will have what is the creation of that audible activity, and then the state engaging in the shaking of that desk where I am in a different room far from that location, and under no circumstances is running a blender going to create any vibration under any circumstances, even if I was standing in front of them in that cafe area and they're preparing me a drink. This is the creation of sensational activity occurring with simultaneity to what is audible activity creation, and doing so while I am doing whatever it is that I'm doing that the entity is monitoring. I want to be clear, this is demonic activity. Sensational movement, vibration, shaking, rumbling, that is a method of activity creation in what is engineered light, while I remain subject to group stalking by the entity. Another example, and that's Fontana Lewis Library, that's demonic, and it's impossible sensational activity. Right? You are running a blender. Not only you're not capable of hearing that blender through the tiled bathroom walls in the bathroom, the sex offender engaging in the P.O.C. It is not shaking the desk when I'm inside of the computer lab of the Fontana Lewis Library. This is demonic activity, and it's also a method of harassment, while the entity is monitoring my documentation that I'm publishing. Another example where I would be at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, as I've documented, and the group stalker and terrorist that is Union Pacific. This is literally demonic activity while that train was used as a means to pace back and forth on a train track, and also occurring audible activity of the train when there was actually no train even on the tracks. The state just amplifying audible activity, and the state would engage in sensational activity creation, shaking the concrete, shaking the grounds of the museum where I was laying at a distance from that train track. I want to be clear, while I am standing on the street of Emporia that is adjacent to the train tracks, there is no earthquake. All right, it is not shaking the foundation of the earth, while Union Pacific is on the train tracks of the Amtrak, that Ontario station, all right, which Amtrak is not using as a passenger train. Union Pacific is using it as a means of engaging in state surveillance on behalf of the government in the city of Ontario. And so you have what is the creation of sensational activity on the grounds of the museum, where it is that I was sleeping on the north or the south end under the covered structure of the museum, where the state is also molesting with directed light. This is a documentation of what is the engagement in the P.O.C, sensational activity creation, and it is demonic. Okay, so I want to document that episode of P.O.C. And capturing what is relevant positioning, and you are already aware of what is the light present here, which is ongoing surveillance, and this is revealing what are demons, the demon possessed who surround in that demonic environment, engaging in what is criminal surveillance with communication devices. And I just want to include that information on my podcast right now. It's currently 11:31 a.m. and that is those are ongoing examples of what I've already documented, and this is the demonic behavioral pattern engaging in what is the demonic conduct of sensational activity creation, and doing so in the presence of third parties and in the absence of the presence of any third parties. It's demonic, okay? And so that's what I'm documenting. But you do have those who are third parties who do engage in those such acts of harassment and then feigning ignorance. I want to be clear. The entity engaging in that activity creation while in the path is the P.O.C. The entity engaging in that sensational creation while I do not physically see a third party in front of me or around me is the P.O.C. All right, it's the ongoing activity creation in the same way that the state is engaging in Star Trek-like activity creation inside of a vehicle while I am not looking out the window to see if there's a third party standing in front of the car. I remain surrounded at all times, and the state is engaging in activity creation. And that is entirely demented and demonic activity conduct where surveillance is underway with communication devices in a very specific environment. It's 11:32 a.m. This is P.O.C. at Ovid Family Community Library. This is documentation of what is demonic activity at the Ovid Family Community Library. P.O.C. All right, it is currently 2:47 p.m. Capturing video, first of all, is what is directed light inside of the venue. You're looking at what are demons that are filling the place. I'm revealing what's demonic activity and the criminal conduct that the demon-possessed are engaging in on behalf of a government. All right, that's engaged in surveillance with communication devices. So first of all, you're talking about what is the state's light source that I capture at 9:56 in the morning, and it's over the library itself. It's not over the 280 North Women Apartments. And you have what is the state's fake sun that I capture 24 hours, well, not 24 hours ago now, but from 9:56 in the morning, where I capture the state's fake sun above the Ovid Family Community Library, not above the 280 North Women Apartments, and that's based on my movement where I'm seated. The state's fake sun, as I have not yet arrived at the Ovid Family Community Library at 9:55 in the morning yesterday. I'm at the intersection of Plum and Holt, and I also described the absence of any light source even in the direction of the Ovid Family Community Library, which my back is to that direction while I'm facing south, showing the fake sun as the state is hovering in a commercial airline plane. All right, this morning today, January 19, 2022, the state's fake sun, as I am ahead of schedule from where I was yesterday, and this is just speaking to what is stalking with light, witnessing what is stalking with a light source in the state of California that is not the sun. The state's light source is over me, over the library itself, as opposed to being over the 280 North Women Apartments adjacent to the Ovid Family Community Library at 9:55, 9:56 in the morning. And I just stepped out right now, and before stepping out, I'm showing you what is directed light, not sunlight. First of all, light that's never going to occur reaching underneath a structure. If this is actually the sun, it's going to be shaded, and it's also not reaching into the building itself in order to touch on the floors, the surfaces with engineered light. That's stalking with light, and it's impossible light. Second of all, the trajectory, the direction of that light that you're looking at, it is impossible to coexist with what I just showed you, the placement of the fake sun as I walk out of the front entrance of the Ovid Family Community Library. Being over that turn circle is not resulting in what is light reaching through underneath the structure, in through the window to touch onto the floors inside of the copy and business center of the Ovid Family Community Library. That is directed light, but I'm just speaking to it's not even in conformity with the placements of the state's fake sun, which remains in alignment with the entrance of the Ovid Family Community Library, as I'm showing you on video at 2:44 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. After, again, the ongoing documentation of what the state does with its fake sun as I arrive in the morning at the entrance. The state is placing it over the 280 North Women Apartments, which is right here adjacent to the Ovid Family Community Library entrance. The state's fake sun is directly above the Ovid Family Community Library entrance after being directly above the building of the Ovid Family Community Library at 9:55 in the morning. Again, it's 2:45 p.m. when I'm capturing this. You're talking about an excess of 5 hours where the state is keeping the light source, which is supposedly the sun, over a specific building, a specific parking lot, literally the specific strip of street. That's exactly what, and it's also not in conformity with what would be this, if this is actually the sun, in other words. It would be over the 280 North Women Apartments, not over the library, as I showed you this morning at 9:55. Moreover, 24 hours ago, if that was the sun over Plum and Holt, as I am at that intersection yesterday, January 18, 2022, it's not going to be it's impossible to be over the building of the Ovid Family Community Library earlier than 9:58 a.m. Today was 9:55 a.m. All right, where I'm showing you at 9:58 a.m. yesterday, the state's light source is south of me as I am facing the intersection of Plum and Holt. And it does remain over my head as I then capture and walk north the Ontario Police Department, who are group stalking in the path, engaging in terrorism, engaging in the demonic activity that they are routinely practicing while surveillance is underway with the government and the people of the state. That's what I'm documenting. And the state's light source engaging in that, hovering over me as I arrive at the Ovid Family Community Library area. Again, covering it up is no deviation from the ongoing P.O.C. Just like you see it shining now, this is what the state was doing over the library. And as I capture that video and that demon-possessed white woman crossing path, engaging in the example of what is demonic activity before your eyes, terrorism on behalf of the government and state surveillance before your eyes, the state's light source immediately engages in dimming down, subduing itself, if you will, but it's not going anywhere. It remains there, okay? And so the state's light source, again, is being over the edge of the 280 Northland Apartments at 9:59, let's say, before I enter the library, and then remaining on the opposite side of the same C Street turn circle at 2:45 in the afternoon is not the sun. Okay, that's called remaining with the light source. And with that sort of conduct, you are talking about what is impossible for any other county, any other city, any other street, let alone any other state or country, where the state is engaging in that level of remaining with that which is supposed to be the sun. This is common sense. I am doing nothing but publishing it and revealing what you are witnessing on a daily basis, which you're just not paying attention to. What else that you are witnessing is not only criminal with regard to the government engaging in surveillance. These are the demon possessed, and that's what I'm showing you on video in this demented light. It's abnormal light. It is under that which is not the sun. That's over the building. And these are also the demon-possessed who engage in the routine conduct of demons and psychopaths, stalking with noise. And that noise is relevant to what is the engineered light that is covering over everything. That is how you're engaging in what is surveillance. And they are also demons engaging in that ongoing fixed focus while they are keeping their back to you, while they are on the clock at whatever venue they happen to be in relevant position, while directed light and a fake sun remains present. So I want to be clear, that is the pattern of conduct, and that is also the pattern of conduct is demonic. And so the state's light source at 2:45 p.m. as I'm stepping out, December 25th, 2021, I am at the Motel 6 on 4th Street in Ontario, and the state's fake sun is over the vehicle, aiming directed light onto me in the side of that vehicle. And the state then engages in aiming directed light underneath the structure, that walkway on the second floor, aiming directed light across the bed onto the wall. It's absolutely impossible light, and that's common sense. It's directed light that the state is aiming into a doorway, spreading it across the surfaces inside of that hotel room of Motel 6 on December 25th. But that is also not the sun. In addition to that, you have what is the next day on December 26th at 8 something in the morning. The state's light source is over that same motel building. And that's not even 24 hours later. So where is it coming from? It's remaining where I am. The state is engaging in stalking with a fake sun hovering over me. And that is the ongoing conduct during the day. And that is why you have what is remaining over the vehicle en route to that Motel 6 and engaging in conduct as though that same fake sun is rising above that Motel 6. That's what that documentation shows, which is not the sun. In addition to that, I demonstrated on January 1st, 2022, 2:47 p.m., just using that specific time as an example of what is not the sun. And not only this morning is the state's fake sun above the Ovid Family Community Library building, not adjacent to it at the 280 Northland Apartments. It's over the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. And right now, 2:45 p.m., it is over the tree right in front of the Ovid Family Community Library. Okay, but aside from that, on this morning, the state's fake sun is advanced beyond its location, as I documented at the same time in the morning, at where it remained on January 1st, as I documented remaining at that venue inside of the car under the fake sun at 630 North Fern Avenue. Right now at 2:47 p.m., it remains in alignment with the entrance while aiming directed light onto underneath the structure and into the side of where the library is. In addition to on the opposite side where the entrance is, underneath that structure of the front entrance and into the depths of the library. through the front entrance doors. And this is 2:45, 2:46, 2:47 p.m. This is remaining at the Ovid Family Community Library, which is mutually exclusive to ever being present and remaining over the 630 North Fern venue while I'm at the car, as I documented on January 1st, 2022. Let alone you're talking about the state's light source remaining present when I am showing you as I go from the B&G Plaza and get on a bus to go to Fontana, and the state's fake sun is remaining over me while I'm en route and remaining at the venue of the Fontana Lewis Library. But it doesn't stop there. On January 1st, 2022, I remained at 630 North Fern Avenue, all right, which is in no way in alignment with the window underneath the structure of the Ovid Family Community Library. It's not the same sky space. It's not the same location. It's not coexisting with being over the 280 North Limit Apartments. It's not coexisting with being over the building of the Ovid Family Community Library, while also at the same time remaining over the vehicle that's parked in front of 630 North Fern, as I showed it January 1st, 2022, which it remained. And I showed you video at 2:47 p.m. and then I captured a second video because the directed light was so blinding and the screen went white after I showed you directed light inside of the car and the fake sun over that vehicle on Fern Street while I'm at 630 North Fern, where it remained for a day. And at 2:51 p.m. I captured a second video just so you can, I wanted you to see the object itself over the vehicle, over the street. That is not coexisting with what the state is doing with its fake sun right now. All right. And this is duration of hours while the state is keeping the pattern of conduct of stalking with light. Stalking with a fake sun is what the government is doing. All right, but stalking with light is demonic in general. That's what each venue is doing while it's filled with directed light. That's what the demon-possessed people of the state are doing while they're using their vehicles, using whatever they have at their disposal to be in the path with light. It's demonic. It's entirely demented. It's documentation of what is terrorism while an entity does that together on a systematic basis. It's also sexual violence while the demon-possessed want to systematically molest your person with this light as they are monitoring and stalking all together. That's demonic activity. The state's fake sun is over the Ovid Family Community Library, and it is not over what is the documentation that is already published, like I showed on January 1st, 2022, same time of year, same hour, down to the minute. This is not the sun that I'm showing you on January 1st, 2022 that is remaining over 630 North Fern, which at no time on that day on January 1st, 2022 was it ever over the Ovid Family Community Library. Not passing over it, not over the roof of the library, not on the side of the library, not next to the library over the 280 North Limit Apartments, not in front of the library, over the tree at the turn circle in front of it. It was nowhere near that location. It does not coexist whatsoever. And it remained until after 4 p.m., which I showed on video, while the state kept its fake sun above the height of the 403 West G Street white fence, aiming directed light precisely through that vehicle in order to keep light activity there while the demons that are the people of the state drive by, creating flashing light inside of the car. Okay, that's P.O.C. All right, it is currently 2:58 p.m. I just want to break down that documentation. What you are looking at in the video, every person you are looking at, you're looking at what are the demon-possessed, engaging in what is state surveillance, criminal conduct, in other words, inside of what is a facilitating venue, engaging in criminal conduct, having zero legal form, no legal argument, and that is direct evidence of that state surveillance, which is in violation of existing federal law. I am referencing Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and subsections 2. All right, this is the P.O.C. (6RZD073), and this demon patrolling 8NYG319, 8XFV891. These are minions at what is 434 North Euclid Avenue. This is the ARCO at Euclid and East Street. That's amplification. And AMR, American Medical Responses, stalking in the path, using lights and sirens at the northern portion of Euclid. And then literally as I fix my eyes in that direction, meaning as I notice the stalking in the method of light activity, then the state begins sounding sirens. They were engaging in the pattern of conduct, trying to do it inconspicuously. Well, I'm looking at all these demons and I already know surveillance is underway, and there's no way to hide that once you are aware of it. But I just want to document the state begins sounding, and then AMR crosses paths visibly, as opposed to loitering in relevant position at a distance. All right, this is a demon at gas stall number 8. Again, that's 8NYG319 with American Medical Response. It is 8:02 p.m. And again, this is the ARCO that's at, I believe, 434 North Euclid. License.
You funny.
Yeah, 8KFV891. That's the correct one. This is inclusive of what is 507 North Euclid Avenue. That's Starbucks. They're monitoring. The Chevron directly across the street at E Street, they're monitoring as well. This is relevant positioning. And it is currently 8:02 p.m. All right, and that goes without saying. These are the two minions who are heavily documented. They're engaging in facilitators of government monitoring. They're insiders. License plate 5WPX921 7ZAP562 is monitoring with the minion who you hear. That's audible activity and directed light. And 7ZAP562 is monitoring to that. 7WMC540 8UMJ678 7WMC540. And it is currently 8:03 p.m. Again, that is P.O.C. at the Arco Gas at E Street and Euclid. Stalking in the path in perfect alignment, and the fake moon is also over the Arco, moving in the window of the vehicle that I'm in, where you hear the minion operational communication device. This is P.O.C. All right, it's 8:03 p.m. All right, molesting is 7LCJ107, and then these demons are walking in front of the headlights. They have their kids walking past the headlights. This is light activity while the little minionites do that, having the lights aimed on me to molest. And then their little demon-possessed children are walking in a line around the vehicle that creates flashing light. That is license plate 7LCJ107, monitoring with the demon-possessed stalkers. That's Eric Corey Spencer you hear on the phone. He's stalking and monitoring. And again, this is interstate stalking. You were talking about what is creation of the elements, doing so facilitating a government's ability to surveil and terrorize. And this is also a demon. I want to make sure I document that. Eric Corey Spencer, demon possessed and a psychopath. This is the Rite Aid at 222 West G Street, where I'm documenting that third party. It is currently 6 VWE 102 touching, and 8 LRE 909, 7 PDY 397, 8 YHH 435, 8 KJX 238, 7 MXU 559, 7 RIH 456, 8 YSZ 374. All of them are molesting together. All right, it is currently 8:07 p.m. The Rite Aid's closed.
Oh, okay.
I think it is. Hold on. Let me get this demon over here. He's monitoring to this ongoing molestation, and so is Tracy Banks. But I'm documenting demons whose names I don't know. BJTO 158, that's Arizona. It's 8:07 p.m. Seven 8198S2 7YJK 465. Alrighty, that is again Rite Aid. Let me be clear: third parties can pack up and ship out all they want. This is documentation of state surveillance, and there is no statute of limitations with regard to the government engaging in this criminal system. And this is documentation that is dating back years with regard to engagement in specific Rite Aid, for example, who was locked up as though that they are going out of business. I want to be clear: there is no escaping that prosecution. So I just want to make sure I document this on my podcast as well. Rite Aid is located at 222 West G Street. The address remains. Whoever replaces that business is in relevant position. But not only that, those who are present at the time, date of time, engaging in the criminal conduct on behalf of the system, on behalf of the state, that remains legally relevant, and it's still ripe for a prosecution. So I just want to document that, because it's the same thing in Orange County. In 2018, when I was documenting them, you have businesses that remain, businesses that pack up, change names or whatever. They are documented engaging in what was state surveillance as it was documented. There is no statute of limitations, and there is no escaping the long arm of the law for purposes of prosecuting that criminal conduct. So I just want to document that on my podcast. It's 8:11 p.m. POC. All right, it's currently 8:14 p.m. and parked on Fern Avenue in front of what is third party facilitating venue 630 North Fern. And as I was describing at the Arco, at the intersection of E Street and Euclid, and that's just where she stopped to get gas, and while she's getting gas, surveillance is underway. And literally as she's driving from what is the Ovid Family Community Library, and by she I'm referencing the ongoing engagement, the criminal activity and demonic activity by Tracy Banks, who was also engaging in that criminal system at a distance via use of a communication device, which is the ongoing P.O.C, operation of a communication device, the ongoing activity creation, doing it with the minion who also knows they're being documented and engaging in that, going in that way. And let me be clear, this is a minion's method of also expressing hostility while even going out of their way to engage in what is a friendly salutation. That's what the demon-possessed stalkers of the Ontario Police Department did while they were engaging in the P.O.C. A third party such as Eric Corey Spencer, who was monitoring with Tracy Banks and going out of their way to say, "What's up, Erica?" is not a friendly salutation. It is the malicious act. Understand, demons are what I am encountering, demonic activity and the demonic methods, the passive aggressive and wicked conduct that is veiled behind what one is ordinarily ignorant of and not lacking the spiritual eye. But even as far as what is discernment, let me be clear. Eric Corey Spencer is demon possessed. This is his condition. This is one whom I am blood related to, but that is it. That has nothing to do with what is the conduct in the condition of a psychopath, which is the affect of demon possession on a human being who was living a life of a con and being documented now engaging in what's criminal conduct while this satanic system is underway in the state of California. So that's unfortunate. With regard to the monitoring, I want to be clear. That's what that is, what you're listening to. While she being Tracy Banks, is on a communication device. That is, in other words, an operation of a communication device in directed light in relevant position, and the criminal elements of monitoring are underway. And there is no friendly salutation that is other than engagement in the criminal elements of monitoring. It's activity creation in directed light and doing so at a distance. And yes, Eric Corey Spencer knows that he's being documented. All right. And was engaged in with Tracy Banks, monitoring their flesh and blood together, engaging in this sexual violence that I'm revealing absolute strangers. This is exactly what they've been doing and continue to do. All right. For years. All right. And you're talking about what are demented psychopaths being exposed as those sex offending group stalkers and dangerous threats that they pose while engaging in criminal conduct with the government. It is dangerous criminals such as these two goofy demons, because that's what they are, Eric Corey Spencer and Tracy Banks, who facilitate a government's ability to target you, whoever it is that you are, whoever it is that is in your inner circle, or as you would identify your circle, where even if you would define yourself as being isolated, all right, keeping a low profile, which actually I consider myself to be pretty low profile too. But contrary to that, regardless of how I maintain myself in my own personal circle, you're talking about what is the government that is in every way engaged in every aspect of your business. You don't have any private life. You don't have any genuine friends. You're dealing with demons. You're dealing with those who are engaged in targeting you and are intimately aware of every detail of your life, including what you are doing while you're nude, while you're in your home, wherever it is that you live, and doing so while you are in a private space, thinking that you have privacy, which you do not. You're subject to 24-hour surveillance, including those who are your family. So the ways in which you would never fathom, I know I would never fathom, wanting to know about the intimate details about what this minion Eric Corey Spencer is engaged in his personal life, or in a bathroom, or in the bedroom, whatever. I'm nauseated just to speak of it. Let me be clear. These are the details that Tracy Banks, that Eric Corey Spencer are intimately and interested in maintaining knowledge of and surveilling with the government, with the rest of the people of the state. It is a demonic and an obsessive stalking and surveillance system, contrary to what they will ever admit with their face. And this is how you are what is understanding what is a psychopath and a violent sex offender. All right. You're talking about one who is engaging in this obsessive demonic activity, and that obsession is born of that condition. You are an obsessed, and you are of that condition. You are demon possessed, and that is where that obsession comes from. And in the same way you are seeking to live a life of a con, nobody knows your condition because you're relying on your physical appearance, your stature, your reputation, your position, whatever it is in the natural, because you cannot physically perceive demon possession, letting you know that is the condition. And this is what they rely on with regard to existing as a con and engaging in what is obsessive and demented conduct as a human being. It's not normal. And that's the reality, contrary to the audible activity and the outward conduct that they being third parties engage in and would like to portray themselves at. And that's where you're looking at what is the disconnect, the delusional psychopath. That is third parties. And you're talking about what is Tracy Banks and Eric Corey Spencer. So with regard to the documentation, I just captured an image at approximately 8:14 p.m. and the state's fake moon is in alignment with me. I want to be clear. This is the venue of what is 630 North Fern, where the vehicle that I'm inside of is parked. And as she was driving away from the Ovid Family Community Library in operation of a communication device, engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring while on her phone with Eric Corey Spencer, maliciously monitoring and surveilling with the state together with law enforcement. These are African Americans who are demon possessed, engaging in monitoring another black life. Has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. All right. It's a false narrative. Demons in the state of California are engaging in a state surveillance and terrorism with law enforcement. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. It's an unfortunate, deceptive and malicious narrative of what are those seeking to literally deter attention from what law enforcement are engaging in and who law enforcement is engaging in it with. And it's with the people of the state, irrespective of any race. What they have in common is the condition of what is demon possession. This is demonic activity. All right. And it's entirely demented, as you can see from the light activity, the light conduct, stalking with light. And that's the reality of one's condition. You're stalking with light. You are stalking, obsessively stalking as the demon possessed actor that you are, period. All right. And so you're going to ignore what are the falsehoods uttered by what are demons who don't want to reveal the fact and would like and are very furious as to revealing that. But this is the reality of that. And so, like I said, it's twofold. Yes, you are understanding how you're going to prosecute a government that's targeting you. And that is, as I speak, aiming directed light across 630 North Fern as I move in my seat. That's a demon that immediately drives by doing so, while directed light appears on 630 North Fern at the same time that I move and that third party drives by under what is a fake moon and the directed light. All right. So you're talking about what is stationary directed light and what is dynamic directed light while demons cross path. Okay. Like I said, this is the P.O.C. and the state's fake moon is over 630 North Fern, which I just took a picture of, and the state's fake moon over the Ovid Family Community Library as she was driving from the library. So this is from the C Street turn circle where she's driving west to get to Euclid Avenue. Then she drives north on Euclid Avenue to get to the Arco gas station. The state's fake moon is in motion, just like you see the fake sun during the day, just like you saw the fake sun today over that library building. And then in front of it, hours later, the state's fake moon was over the same venue, moving in alignment with me through the window in the same exact object, speaking to what is the center of the universe that I am amongst the inferior demon possessed, including Eric Corey Spencer, who you hear on my podcast, intentionally engaging in the malicious system of surveillance with the government and engaging in terrorism in the same way. And also Tracy Banks doing so together as the demon possessed relatives that they are, okay, being prosecuted for the psychopaths that they are and the criminal conduct that they engage in together with the demons whom they are engaging in this ritualistic system of targeting together. And that's the people of the state. And so ARCO, as I'm documenting license plates, I'm documenting American Medical Response. It also includes Chevron. It includes Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. That's just the immediate surrounding. It includes Papa John's. You have what is Gloria's Cochinas. You have what is this is Euclid Avenue where I'm at. I'm just speaking to the surrounding relevant positioning. The entity is monitoring and the state is keeping a fake moon in alignment, and that fake moon remains in the window while she continues to drive from the Arco gas station to where we are now, which was stopping at Rite Aid, and then Rite Aid at 222 West G Street, and then arriving at 630 North Front. This is the state's fake moon. Like I said, the state's fake moon and the state's fake sun over the same venue, and remaining in the same window over the same person. This is the stalking with objects in the sky, which are supposed to be light sources. It's not the actual moon, and that's not the actual sun, and that's not even headlights or sunlight, as demons are crossing path. All right. And while these psychopaths are again listening to me describe what is the unthinkable conduct that they are engaging in, one with the ability to articulate it so that you can understand, even if you cannot fathom it. You've witnessed it. I've shown you images and shown you videos, and this is the ongoing conduct in this demented system is that which is underway by a government, which is speaking to what is an unprecedented criminal threat, a perpetual threat, and sexual violence, while that government that is stalking and surveilling in concert with everyone around you, including the demon possessed who you happen to be blood related to. You are speaking to what is terrorism. While that criminal act in violation of Title 18, which is interstate stalking, federal stalking, this is stalking with the use of communication devices, engaging in other words, what is massive surveillance. And that's the significance of stalking with a fake sun and a fake moon, and even doing so over the same address, where I capture the state's fake sun is present all day long in the city of Ontario over a specific address, which is 215 East C Street. That's P.O.C. So anyway, it is currently 8:25 p.m. And this is the entity. Let me document while I'm speaking right now, as I've been documenting. 630 North Fern is a venue using its venue to engage in light activity. The entity is engaging in that ongoing stalking conduct. All they're doing is stalking, just like I showed you in images. That's surveillance inside of that library. What you see on my website, what is published still images, and what is on the Google Drive, let me be clear, it's not new. I've documented this before, but like I said, while I'm showing you what is the state's fake sun, that is conclusive evidence. It is irreducible. That is insurmountable. It's incontrovertible, period. The state's fake sun is over the venue, and you're looking at what are those appearing outwardly. These are demons looking like they want to be, appearing to be focused on a computer, doing some kind of work that they're asking the librarian to assist them with because they just can't seem to figure it out. What you're looking at is, first of all, it's called group stalking. They are all around in the path of the one who is being targeted and surveilled by the government, first of all. Second of all, while they are present, ongoing audible activity is ceaselessly underway. These are demons who engage in an ongoing chorus systematically, all together, of maintenance of noise, while you are also seeing in those images what is absolutely impossible light. They look like the goofy demons that they are. If you look at the partitions that are upright and you're looking at the chairs, you can see the double shadows of the chairs while they're sitting there staring at the computer screen like they're focused and studying. You have chairs. The shadow of the furniture is crooked. The shadows are leaning to the sides, and they have multiple shadows of the furniture while they are standing in what is absolutely impossible light activity. And then not only that, these demons are so pathetic, and they're engaging in what is an unspoken system. They sit there engaging in the stalking system while they are caught red-handed, but they still have to maintain their composure as though they're unaware of the fact that they're being documented. When those demons are stalking, and that stalking activity is evidenced by that directed light that they are sitting and standing in. That is what the entity is doing on a constant basis. That is the ongoing catalog of documentation I have of the state of California, the people of the state. Those are demons that fill that venue. These are demons living inside of 630 North Fern, 325 West G Street, 403 West G Street, 621 North Fern Avenue, 408 West G Street, that entire apartment complex, including Tracy Banks. These are demons. This is the demon possessed that is engaging in surveilling an American citizen who was not of that condition, who was revealing what is the demonic activity that is practiced by a government, and it is criminal. It's in violation of Title 18, while the demon possessed are engaged in what is state surveillance, and it is terrorism while that demonic conduct is underway by a government and a people. And that is exactly what is captured in those images and by the video of the state stalking with a fake sun over 215 East C Street today on January 19, 2022. And then you have what is the state's fake moon that is over the venue, remaining in the window of the vehicle while I'm in the vehicle of Tracy Banks, just like when I'm on Omnitrans or when I'm in Tracy Banks' vehicle during the day and the fake sun is remaining in the window. That's what the state is then doing where the fake moon is over the Ovid Family Community Library. And so I just captured a picture again. This is what I want to point to. And you have what is following all the way to what is 630 North Fern with what is not the moon. This is the center of the universe that I am by the inferior who are demon possessed. They're inferior to me. All right, you're talking about what is snuffing out all of their demented tactics, and I'm spreading it all over the internet like Miracle Whip for all of those tactics to be known, to make clear, to make it known worldwide. What is demonic activity? It's not a mystery. It's not fables. It's not some fallacy. It's real life. It's every day. It's in your face. You're encountering it every single day. You're encountering those who would like to otherwise seem normal to you, and actually they are highly abnormal. And this environment that I'm describing to you is an environment that you are in as well. It is not isolated to California. The government in California is not the only entity engaging in this. This is what the government is doing, and it's also revealing what's demonic activity. And you are surrounded by it. I'm showing you how the ways in which to pay attention to it, because you are surrounded by it, and you are surrounded by the demon possessed. All right. You're talking about one who is just pointing out what you are looking at, what you are surrounded by, and helping you to understand what it is that you're looking at and who it is that you're dealing with, because they are the demon possessed, and they're criminals engaging in what is state surveillance while you are understanding what is demonic activity. The government's engaged in surveillance, and it is absolutely satanic. And that's why you have what is a fake moon over the same venue where the state is during the day, placing a fake sun. All right, it's currently 8:30 p.m. The state engaging in ongoing terrorism. As I document this, literally this entire courtyard vias. All right, like I said, all of Vine Avenue. You're talking about G Street, Fern, Laurel. I could go even farther, but no, I don't have every address in order to put it on my website. What I have done is I've made it known my location for purposes of what is a massive prosecution for what is a ceaseless criminal act that is also sexually violent, and it is terrorism by a government acting in concert with the people. Whatever your address is, you're going to be snatched out of it. You're identified by it while you are engaging in the state system, and that is why an entity is stalking with an entire environment where a fake moon and a fake sun is over me. It's because the entirety of an entity is focused on me, which is terrorism. They're engaging in state surveillance. This is why you have what is Star Trek light activity inside of a vehicle, while the entirely disconnected conduct of merely driving by is coexisting with that. Those are demons that are stalking with light, creating facilitating activity while I am the center of an entity that is engaging in surveillance while I am inside of a vehicle that all of the government and the people of the state are aware of, even as I speak. All right. That's what that's relevant to. So every actor engaging in that criminal conduct on behalf of an entity, and I'm not going to miss one apartment building, one apartment complex, one address with regard to the prosecution of that entity. And there is no legal excuse. Rite Aid can pack up and ship up all at once. They are not escaping the arm of the law, and I will be prosecuting them. It's not a mystery as to who has been there, who will remain there. And you're talking about for a term of years, documenting what is relevant positioning of a venue, whether I was directly at that venue or not. You're talking about what is the government that's present in a zone of relevant positioning. It's 8:31 p.m. and this is P.O.C. All right, it is 11:13 p.m. 8XIV 575 E7098T. That's a black GMC Sierra truck at 7-Eleven, stalking in the parking lot with headlights on, aiming through the store. And I have 3 shadows as I walk to the 7-Eleven. This is just POC. I'm just reminding you about the environment and the demonic conduct of stalking with light, stalking in the path with light on behalf of the state. 7RXM767. All right, again, those are Idaho license plates, and they're on surveillance cameras inside of the venue. It's POC. Showing images of what is the group stalker with the Idaho license plate. This is the short white male. He's on surveillance cameras of 7-Eleven at 636 North Vine Avenue as I'm approaching and documenting his license plate. He's loitering in relevant position, and what the minions who I'm capturing images of, they're at the register. They are using the entrance, which is being kept open, as a means of stalking with audible activity. So as I move, somebody is entering the doorway, which creates a chime. These are demons who are stalking with audible activity while they enter and exit out of the open door, which is facilitation by 7-Eleven, who's monitoring with them, all of them together in directed light. Okay, I did capture images of what is relevant positioning and stalking with light. This is terrorism as the entity engages in what is supposed to be strategic and palatable, if you will, appearing as though they're shopping, and this is actually surveillance that's underway, and they're demon possessed while they do so. These are psychopaths engaging in state surveillance with the state. It is currently 11:17 p.m. All right, this minion in operation of a communication device monitoring while I'm inside of 7-Eleven, 8PUR716, who I documented earlier today in Holt Boulevard, stalking. And she's in front of 7-Eleven in directed light in operation of a communication device. And the state is engaging in the ongoing routine sounding of impossible audible activity attributed to Union Pacific, which you cannot hear, certainly not at the 7-Eleven nor at 630 North Fern on the opposite side of the same street. And also, again, my triple shadows. I have 3 shadows as I'm walking to the venue. And again, that's 8PUR176, monitoring from the outside of the store in relevant position. And it's currently 11:22 p.m. This is POC. That was 7-Eleven located at 636 North Vine Avenue, engaging in what is state surveillance. with the people of the state. And this is demonic activity as it's ceaselessly underway everywhere that you go in that specific environment present, and demons facilitating that ongoing maintenance of such an environment. And this is why you have the demon with the Idaho plates aiming light into the store, while then demons enter and exit the store in order to maintain audible activity with simultaneity to my every most minor movement. Demons that are aware of what you're doing, even that which is inaudible to the human ear. You're not dealing with normal people, you're dealing with the demon possessed. All right, this is P.O.C. It's 11:23 p.m. All right, I do want to spell out what the entity is ceaselessly engaging in. And so it's currently 11:29, and this entity is engaging in stalking from place to place and just remaining where I am. You are understanding what's demonic activity. This is where surveillance is underway by government, and it's demonic at its root. So the entity is stalking with an environment that remains 24/7. I mean, and you're talking about obsessed demons. This is 25/8. Okay, stalking with an environment, and stalking the environment is inclusive of what is with regard to audible, what is with regard to visible. This includes light activity. Okay, and also stalking in the path. And so I remain surrounded in every unfathomable way for purposes of what is massive surveillance by a government. This is the state of California. And so I want to document the entity, this same entity, 8PUR176. Okay. She represents the entity. She's stalking at the 7-Eleven as I'm going from the vehicle that this entity, that this third party is stalking while I'm in the vehicle, stalking and following me to the store and back to the store. Okay. They're engaged in stalking at the store. So this is the P.O.C. And I want to be clear because I will document this minion and the minion with the Idaho license plate who I recited, the minions inside of the 7-Eleven. This is an entity. And so in this regard, as I capture their images, you're talking about what is conduct on behalf of the entity, and this entity engaging in touching on my breasts with directed light. While I'm in the vehicle, I keep want to say uploading, editing my website with regard to the ongoing federal stalking, as I've documented it specifically in my November 16th, 2018 list of police encounters. I do have posts that I am preparing to publish. And so while I'm on the internet, I'm on my website working on this. The state is specifically adding, now understand everything that the state is doing is pursuant to a pattern of conduct. As I have gone to the extent of outlining the methods of a light activity and speaking to what is a policy in order to confront what's demonic conduct and what is sexually violent with what demons are habitually engaging in. Everything that the entity, I'm spelling that out because everything that the entity does is with knowledge of what it is that I am documenting and what it is that I am advocating with regard to what is surveillance by government and the sex offender that is the government. While the government, again, this is demon possession. And so this is, in other words, the entity is not just touching me with directed light. The entity intentionally touches my breast area with directed light. Understand that. Okay. So it is under all circumstances impossible light activity. It is light that is never naturally occurring. You are not driving down the street while the vehicle is parked on Fern Avenue. It's facing north, even if it was facing south. You're talking about what is directed light that's coming through what is the passenger side of the window, touching on my breast. Simultaneously, directed light is at the feet on the bottom side. I'm sitting on the passenger side in the car, in the depths of the car, moving across the glove compartment at the dashboard while a vehicle is driving by. All right, on the street. That's directed light. It's the same exact pattern of conduct. And it's the sex offender, the demon possessed. Okay, 8PUR176. She's a demon possessed stalker. I'm capturing her image. She is monitoring me. She is engaging in what is that molestation of my breast with directed light. Understand how this documentation works, how this entity, how this group conduct works. That's exactly what I just documented right now. All right. With regard to the ongoing thousands who are going to be prosecuted for that same sexual violence on behalf of a government. The government is a perpetual sex offender by engagement in what is federal group stalking and monitoring, state surveillance and terrorism. Okay. So I want to be clear. I want to document that the state going out of its way to not just touch with directed light. The state is intentionally touching my body parts that are my sexual organs, if you will. You're touching with light. You're touching on the out exterior of my clothing at the breast area. It is not going to be treated. It's not going to be prosecuted. It's not going to be analyzed or assessed in any other way. You're talking about what is a stalker, that is the state. You're talking about what is touching, which is molestation by a stalker who has no consent to, nor has any business in your private affairs, where you're sleeping, where you're remaining, and doing so for a criminal purpose so that they may monitor you on a massive scale with communication devices in violation of federal law. All right, while they're terrorizing you and doing so. All right, so like I said, that is sexual violence. And 8PUR176, whose image I capture, whose license plate I document, and I documented this minion earlier. Okay, I've documented tons of them. I'm in Ontario, but I'm just being you're talking about what are minions that are literally just engaging in routine stalking in Ontario, especially as they know I've recited their license plates. They're going to be prosecuted for that too. So, I mean, have a field day. Anyway, the entity engaging in, and she's engaging in, all the minions that I just got out the vehicle to document, they're molesting, engaging in sexual violence, and this is what I'm documenting, them engaging in. And the state is aiming directed light on my body parts in the dark while another group stalker is driving by. Impossible light activity. Sexual violence is the motivation behind that, while touching with light in order to keep me under surveillance. So anyway, it is currently 11:34 p.m. And I am back in the vehicle. I just wanted to include this conduct with regard to the sex offender. And let me be clear. Let me tie up this for you with the way this analysis goes. Tracy Banks is monitoring and surveilling right now while she is in relevant position, monitoring with the government while I am subject to this terrorism inside of her vehicle, where she is engaging in the P.O.C. as well. And the way that analysis goes is she is a sex offender who is sexually violating, not only in concert with the government and people, in concert with the people of the state, she is facilitating such sexual violence with knowledge. All right. Her audible activity, feigning ignorance, is not persuasive whatsoever. The pattern of conduct is that which is going to choke the life out of what are the demon possessed, who are going to be prosecuted by evidence. You can sit in court and say whatever you want. You're going to be prosecuted. And that is how, speaking to what is that incontrovertible evidence, just like any other criminal that is literally a psychopath and will lie to the death. Okay, you're going to be prosecuted, and you're going to choke the life out of them with that evidence, which you cannot. There's no way you don't have a legal argument for it. So like I said, anyway, this is P.O.C. Woodside Senior Apartments, and Tracy Banks in particular is engaged in ongoing surveillance, maintains awareness of everything that is ongoing, and it is facilitation of that criminal conduct while that property and Tracy Banks personally, who is blood related to me, engaging in that sexual violence and exposing me to it, engaging in the ongoing conspiracy to engage in that conduct with third parties who I document on an ongoing basis. As I walk out of a venue, going to get into her vehicle, she's engaging in sexual violence with another third party who is present behind her vehicle or in front of her vehicle, or arriving at the same time that she's arriving, in order that I am molested with what is light, in order for her and their criminal purposes together. All right? She's a violent sex offender. She's a freaking psychopath. All right. And she is waiting for her day. All right. Period. And she's listening as it approaches, moment by moment, listening to the truth about herself. So it is currently 11:37 p.m. and I want to document that. This is the sex offender that is Tracy Banks. She's in relevant position and she's monitoring, and she is also engaging in the conduct of a psychopath, listening to my being sexually violated, listening to my being terrorized, and subject to this federal stalking, while she is in relevant position engaging in it as well. Okay, so I just want to document that. In other words, 8PUR176, that third party and captured in relevant position in front of me, is monitoring with Tracy Banks. They are monitoring with communication devices, both of whom are acting in concert with the state vicariously on behalf of that entity, engaging in that state surveillance and terrorism, which is of a sexually violent nature. All right. It is currently 11:37 p.m. and this is P.O.C.